Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. Come on in, let's plump up those cushions, get you a nice comfy chair, and you want to brew. What do you fancy today? Tea, coffee, maybe just a water? Oh, it's so funny, Eric's just sat here, obviously my black Labrador, and as I said, get yourself comfy, he's just rearranged himself under my chair and he's literally right under my feet. But, so, as always, if you hear snoring, it's not me, it's Eric. So how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I hope your week's gone well. Always nice when we get to Friday, isn't it? But I'm working tomorrow. Another workshop over at Lavinia, sharing the love of Lavinia. Fabulous, full workshop. Can't wait. We're doing a gorgeous floral zig card book. Honestly, I love going there. Now, today, our little catch-up, a couple of you have been in touch and you've told me that you make cards for charity. A couple of ladies make them for the local church and one of our lovely ladies makes them for a local hospice. And you've asked for cards that can be quite generic. They could be sympathy, condolence, or get well, but with a masculine twist. But also you've said you don't want them to take you a long time or to cost a lot of money because you're doing it for charity. I get that. So I thought I'd come in today with quite a generic design, and obviously you can take this further. I mean, it might be you think, Jo, I don't need condolence cards, and I have to say you're very lucky, but I don't need get well cards. But you know what? You could take this design, so this is one I've made, and you could just alter the colours, add some florals, and before you know it, you've got a birthday card design. And I think that's what's lovely, that when we create our own mini pieces of art, we can then change it up a little. But also I'm aware that we've got quite a few lovely new friends and followers on here. And I must say thank you for subscribing and thank you for coming back to visit. Because what's lovely is when you put little comments on that maybe you're on your own or you have difficulty sleeping and you like to just pop in and it's just like a friend joining you. And I'm so pleased because that's what my aim for these little videos is. You know, it is just, it might be you can't craft at the minute, or it might be you've just started and you don't know anything and you just want to play just with a few products, and that's fine. So obviously there will be videos where I'll use lots of different products, but every so often it's nice just to pare it back and use minimum products. And ideally, if you're making cards for charity or batch card making, you know, you do want things that are going to look effective, but don't take a lot of products. Now this, if I just grab a piece of card, this is an offcut, by the way. And I know you're going to ask me for sizes, so just let me find my ruler. And it's just an offcut I found. So it's 3 inches by, 3.5. And as you know, I like using offcuts, but if you're making cards for charity, offcuts are fabulous. But look, this is an A6 piece of card. It's the one I'm going to use. But if I use it, you could stamp a sentiment there and you've got a card design. And as I say, if you wanted to make it almost a happier card, just change this up for yellows, oranges, then maybe a bit of brown, vintage it up. Or make the same design just in browns. You know, you could have a day making cards and just changing the colours. And it is amazing. I mean, I love to do that because honestly, I don't think we realise what a different tone it takes on the whole thing. So that's one idea. So again, the stamps. So this stamp, I'm not going to use this today, but I wanted to show you. It's one of my favourite and it's a good all-round. It's called the Meadow Grass. Now, if you wanted to create a beach scene for summer, this is great to put in the foreground. Lots and lots of uses, look. So that's that one. And then, oh, another stamp I got out. I've not used it, but this is a useful one. It's called Buttercups. And if you've only got a small piece of card, you know, look at the back, you could blend your oranges, but then stamp this. And I love it's got a lot of detail at the base. Stamp this across the bottom a few times. You've got a lovely design. So that's another good worker stamp. And then the other one I thought, we'll put that one out of the way. This one, and this is the one I'm going to do today. And this uses the Bulrushes. Now, again, you could do this design, but put the Bulrushes on. We have a lovely lake here called Sheikh Lemire, and we take Eric on a Saturday and Sunday if I'm not working, and we go in our little van because he can get in and out of that. He can't get in and out of the car, but Jay and Fee have a coffee van there, and when we've walked all the way around slowly with Eric, we get a coffee and just sit at the edge of the van having our coffee. But I've noticed the bulrushes are beautiful at the minute, and you know, you could make a design like that, off-cut bulrushes, job done. So I'm going to use the bulrushes today. And as I say, I'm going to do this. This is an A6 piece of card, but I'm thinking this here. Now, the sentiment is off the Heartfelt verses, and there is, just let me take them off, a With Love and Sympathy. Now, should you need a sympathy card, you could stamp that there, look, and you've got a sympathy card. Again, change the colours, make it into a birthday card. I've used the Just For You, or there's With Love as well. Again, very useful. So I may just we'll probably make this again, but I may introduce the purple. On this one, I've just used Mermaid, Dark Denim and Midnight Blue. But I'm thinking I may do a combination of these two just to mix it up a bit. I'm sure you do that sort of thing. But it's all about playing, isn't it? So if I bring in, as I say, this is an A6 piece of multifarious. And we're going to use the bulrushes, and we'll start in this corner. And we're just going to do opposite corners. I always think it looks nice. Black Versafine Clair today, just using the black. So again, if you've started off and you've not got any coloured Versafine Clair, the black's definitely the one we use the most. Well, I do. And again, if I get ink on my block, look, I like to clean it off. Just try and keep as clean as you can. And it's a silhouette, so give it a good press, and don't lift it up straight away. And that's our first generation, but we'll stamp again with second. So again, we've not got as much ink, so it'll be paler, but that will make it look like we've got those in the distance. And again, it's a lovely way of, you know, you've almost got a grey ink there without having to buy a grey. Now again, I've caught the block look, so we'll clean that off. And I'm just going to put another one here and maybe a second there. I don't want to make it too uniform, you see. And again, I'm taking the ink pad to the stamp and do nice light taps. Don't over ink. If you push it down, if you push it down too much, you'll get ink on the edges of your stamp. So it's better to do more taps, but keep them nice and light. And I like this shape, but I think we just need a little bit of dark. So I'm just coming off the page. Oh, and I'm just going to get a little bit there in that corner. Does that make sense? Can you see? Just darken that corner, and I like that shape. Now, you could be tempted to add more, but again, that's where your acetate comes in. But I think it would look over fussy there. I like to have a little bit more space. And I often say, you know, at times, just think of me in your head saying, stop, we don't want a pizza, walk away. Because this is a larger piece of card, I mean, obviously on the smaller one, I've just left stamping at the base. But for this larger one, I'm thinking now, you know, I love this maple leaf, just bringing a little bit of that in the opposite corner. So while I stamp this up again with first and second, how are you doing? I hope you've had a good week. As I say, it's a busy week here. It's a busy time, summer holidays, so extra grandma duties. But Carl and I also, on Wednesday, it was our wedding anniversary. So you may have noticed he treated me to an eternity ring. But 37 years. We did have a laugh, though, because we couldn't decide which one of us deserved the medal. I think both of us, really. But 37 years. Absolutely wonderful. Let's hope we got 37 more. Right, so that's just the first and second. I don't want to add any more. I like these little gaps here. Again, we're not going to overcook it. This design, you know, if you're looking for a design, would look lovely in the browns, in pine cone, or with a little bit. You could even put some, if you wanted a little bit more stamping in the background, you could add sand dune with one of these scripts. that will be beautiful. So it's all about, when I come in for a catch-up, remember, blot it, Versafine Clair, slow drying ink. It's all about, you know, you might not like this design, you might not like the colours, but the ideas are there for you to then change the colours up. Or it might actually spark your mind to think, oh, I'm not keen on that, but I'd like to do this, this or this. So turn it round and the moon mask. We're going to start with Mermaid. Any of the blues. I just thought the Mermaid had a lovely sort of turquoisey touch to it. And as always, dabbing in the lid. Again, non-slip matte. The craft matte is fabulous for this. One of the ladies recently said to me, why do you need that craft mat? And I said, well, to be honest, for me, the game changer is when I forgot my craft mat, went to do a workshop, and I couldn't believe how the lid moved. And so you have to hold the lid. Whereas this way, I don't. I can keep my hand on my moon mask. So I'm just going to bring in the blue, whichever blue you go for. And don't worry too much about your blending. I mean, obviously do it as best as you can, but take that off. Now, very important, we're going to give that a wipe before we put it away. And remember, if you're new, always add a little dot of Posca or just a permanent marker or acrylic paint, just because it's easier to find then, because they are tinkers, they do have a habit of hiding. So, like I say, I think I'm going to bring a bit of purple into this one. We'll just make it slightly different. And this is the Flying Fig, so it's a lovely purple. And what I'm thinking is just in this corner where the bulrushes are, we'll go over the stamped areas. So we'll come in and again, blending in the lid. And just over the bulrushes. And wow, that's a lovely purple, isn't it? Very deep. Song there, isn't there? So again, I'm starting in the corner, look. And when I've got less ink, what I'm going to do is just moodily bring a little bit over that moon. Gonna have a moody moon. So do you know what? If you're having a bad day, think of me with my moody moon. Now I've got two more colours, Midnight Blue and Dark Denim. So I'm going to come in with the Midnight Blue first. And I'm just going to add a little bit in the corner, look. Now, if you've just got one of these colours, just use one. I just like a combination of the two, and it just gives such a lovely effect. So again, I'm going to go over that purple, and it's amazing how the blue tones. And again, I'm just going to keep turning my work. And mine's a well-used ink pad, so on the corners, I come straight from the ink pad. When I'm going down the sides or in the middle, obviously, you'll know your ink pad. If it's a new ink pad, please make sure you blend it in the lid. Right, just need a little bit more in this corner. And it's amazing the difference, how it takes on a different tone. As I say, I think these two colours work so well together. And I'm just going to blend just till I get that nice. And I want to get that smoky sort of purple sort of. And it's a lovely way to practice your blending and just have fun. I mean, look at that. It's starting to look really moody. Let's just add a little bit more in this corner. Just to balance, really. And as I say, I'm just using a combination of the two. And I like that with the purple, but I think the tones, they blend well. And if you're going into the middle to just do your blending, a little tip, don't do it straight when you pick the ink up. Do it when you've got less ink on your brush. And it's great. I mean, I was asked recently if I wash my brushes, and I don't, never have, never will. I feel for me, because I blend so much. So, for example, here, look. Oh, nice pattern off the mat. There's very little ink left on it. There'll be a colour on the bristles, but there's very little actual ink. But if you look, I love that where it just takes it. We can still see the moon, but it's not that bright white. I want it to look more hazy and go into the background. Now, what we're going to do now is just add some water splats. Now, it's up to you. I'm just going to add a little bit of the white pen first. You know me, I test it on the back. And I'm just going to add some little white highlights. I'm not going to overcook it, because I'm thinking if you want it for a condolence card, you don't want, or it might be you want more white highlights, and it's up to you. You can add, and again, at your design. So we'll just add a couple. Don't want to overcook it. I think it looks silly if you add too many, but I like just that. I think that is just pops enough. So water splats. I'm going right over the moon. I want the whole area to have the lovely water splats. I love the reaction you get in the background. And then also I'm going to pick a little bit up of the colour that's on my mat and just add a little bit of that, especially over the moon. I will put that to one side because I've got one of our lovely watercolour tags. And rather than waste this, let's mop up and just leave, and then I've got a tag ready for a spare background. So let's add a little bit of water. Right, I'll just dry this very quickly. Mop it up on my kitchen roll. Give it a quick dry with the drying tool. And let's see if we can get some of that purple. And then when this dries, and again, don't worry what it looks like. Right, I'm going to get rid of this because I've got enough on there. Give that a little bit of a dry, and then I'm going to leave that to dry naturally. I prefer them to dry naturally. What you can do as well is add a couple more water splats. I like to do that just so it moves even more. Look how it's starting. Right, so that can go on my kitchen roll, but that is going to be lovely for me just to stamp up, and I could even use these stamps. So I'm going to file that over there. Make sure this is dry, and then let's have a look how we're doing here. I'm just going to grab myself another piece of kitchen roll and we'll give it a dry. Again, at home, you can just let it dry naturally. But look at that. I think that's lovely. Now, just give a quick, make sure it is dry. Again, front and back. I do love that pattern on the back, you know. So we'll stamp this one up. I was going to leave it without a sentiment, and then I thought, no, do you know what? Let's put just for you, because that covers a lot of eventualities, doesn't it? And I'm thinking just in this corner, well, the bulrush is there, so I'm just going to go slightly above. It wouldn't look right there, it wouldn't fit in right, so... Now, the last little thing I'm going to do, now it might be you're happy and you want to leave it like this. But I'm thinking that would be a handy card to have in. And again, imagine the different colour tones. I mean, just look at the difference with adding the purples. So already we've mixed it up a little bit. But I don't know if you can notice on this one. Now, you know I'm not very good at my camera work. There's a little bit of shimmer like a mist. So what I'm thinking is, if you've got the PanPastels, and again, it's something I tend not to use very much, and I'm looking around my craft stash, and this one's always on my desk because I love it. This is the pearl medium, the white. So I'm thinking, right, Now, I must admit, my applicators are with my box of PanPastels. This one I keep on my desk. So I've got myself one of the brushes, but don't scrub it. It's a powder. So I'm just going to pick it up, look, just gently move it round. You find if you scrub, it sort of agitates the powder and it'll waste it. Got some yellow PanPastel there. No idea where that's come from. But what we'll do is just going to bring this look across the moon and just almost make a sort of like a mist. Again, I'll just pick a bit more up, just with that dabbing motion, and let's put some across the bulrushes. And it just gives that lovely, now it might be if it's a sympathy card, you don't want to add this, and that's fine. It's just giving you another idea of a product that you've got, and if you've got it, it's good to use it. So what I would do is just grab myself a little cotton pad. You know I like these. I find kitchen towel can be a little bit rough, especially if it's got a pattern on it. So I find I just buy some of these makeup little cotton and this will fix it and smudge it. So I don't need to spray it with any fixative. But if I lift that up now, I'm hoping you can see, it just gives it that sheen. And it just makes it look like you've got that lovely mist. So we've got that one with the purple, and that's with the blue and the two darker blues. So this one here, I know you're going to ask, that's Mermaid, Midnight Blue and Dark Denim. And this is the same three, but with that little bit of the flying fig, or flying pig as he is in my head. And that's just your smaller version using that lovely Meadow Grass. So I'm hoping that's given you some ideas. Just have a play. Do you know what? And if you're not feeling up to using many products, you don't need a lot for this. A couple of stamps or just one stamp look. And they're similar but different. And I hope you have a play. And please, share it in our groups. It's lovely to share. Comment on each other's. And let's keep our lovely Lavinia community going. It's really important. And I think the love there is, and especially recently when a few people have had a hard time, the messages I've received saying that just feeling that somebody cares has made the difference. And I always think, you know what, if you can make the difference just for one person, it's worth it. It really is. But you can make the difference to lots of people. So pop over to our lovely Lavinia For You group. Maybe create this design. And I know you want to change the colours up, don't you? What colours are you going to go for? I can't wait to see. Okay, I'm off now. More grandma duties. And I think I need to wake Eric up for his walk. Which obviously he'll hear that word and he's jumping round now. So you take care. Have a lovely weekend. And I'll be seeing you again on Monday. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.